When you open up Word, your document will look similar to mine. There's a couple things we need to start. Up at the top, go ahead and click on View. Underneath, about where it says References, go ahead and click on Ruler, because we would like to see a ruler on the side. From here, go ahead and click on Page Layout. Margins, we would like to have as the narrow margins, so go ahead and select Narrow. And where it says Orientation, go ahead and change it to Landscape. What we want to do is we want to make a name bar. If you're looking at a sheet of paper, the name bar is actually your name and the design is going to be on the bottom half. So what I'm going to do is the trackball on the mouse, as I'm going to go ahead and hold Control on the keyboard, and I'm going to backtrack on the mouse keyball, and you will see that it will zoom out so I can see the whole sheet. So again, I hit Control on the keyboard and I hold it while I go back on the trackball on the mouse. Okay, from here what we want to do is we actually want to get to about half of the page. So if we look off to the side, it shows that we are at 7.5 inches, and half of 7.5 is 3 3/4. So if we look, we've got 3.5 and then 3 1/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the left and drag it down and kind of eyeball it until this dotted line is about halfway. And then when I release, you will now see that my flashing cursor is now halfway down the page. Now is when the fun begins, and you can go ahead and start getting creative. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert a shape, and I'm going to insert a rectangle. And I'm going to get as close to the edge as I can, and near the cursor, I'm going to click once in the corner, drag, and let go, and it has now created a box. And you guys can get creative. If you look up at the top, you will see it has predetermined fills with borders, so you can go ahead and scroll through those. If you want more options, you can go through some of these. If you don't like any of these, you can get a little bit more detailed where it says Shape Fill, and you can click different colors, gradients. You can also look at some different textures, and you can look at some patterns. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and select red. Now what we would like to do is we'd like to add your first and last name. So where it says Insert up at the top bar, go ahead and click on Insert, and we're going to look at word art. Word art is where you can get creative with the word art. From here you can go ahead and select whichever one you want. I'm going to click this squiggly one, and I'm going to type in my first name, which is Rachel, and my last name, which is Domer. From here I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. Now before you click anywhere else on the screen, okay, all the way up in the top you're going to see an option that says Wrap Text. Go ahead and click on that, and you want to select in front of text. So what it's doing is it's taking the initial image and it's placing it behind the red bar. So go ahead and click. So from here, okay, now I can expand my text to take up the whole area. You can also get even more creative here. I'm actually going to take my text and place it a little bit more in the center, and I'm going to add some things around my text that kind of explain who I am. So for example, I'm going to click on Insert and then Clip Art. Okay, and off to the right you'll see a search field, and I really like stars. I'm really into astronomy, so I'm going to look and see if I can find any shooting stars. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit and see if I can find something that I like. Okay, so we have a shooting star there, shooting star here. Here's a happy shooting star. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it did the same thing as it did with my name, where it added it behind the bar. So before I click anywhere else, I'm going to click on Wrap Text and then have it in front of text. So now I have my happy shooting star. I can go ahead and I can also make a copy of it. And then anywhere along the screen, you can go ahead and click on Paste Picture. Same thing, I'm going to want to put it in front of text. There's a little green circle up here. I can click on that and drag it, and I can rotate it if I want to. Now my happy star is upside down. You can also flip it, And again, you can go ahead and get creative. When you are ready to print, go ahead and raise your hand and your teacher